fuck it, that's the fourth Domino's that won't pick up. This is the apocalypse.
When you called me over for dinner, I thought pizza would already be here. I'm so hungry! What's taking so long?
Oh hey, I was right.
Oh damn it. I forgot that the weather lady said today's forecast was zombie outbreak. The humans really have it rough. Every Wednesday.
Well, that explains why I can't get through. So, you bring an overnight bag or are we sharing a toothbrush? Because two things you should know. One, I'm a foul creature, and two, I don't have a toothbrush.
Well, there's a crisis afflicting everyone and causing irreparable damage, so how about we tune into Disney Channel? Personally, I always find their capitalizing on the loss of human life entertaining. And I also like the reruns of High School Musical. After all, during a zombie outbreak, we're all in this together.
If you're gonna be the soundtrack to my final days, how about I save us both the trouble and mix up some rat poison cocktails?
No, man, you don't get it. Your head's not in the game.
Would you like your head to be through my wall? Then shut up and let's see what kind of garbage Michael Roden is putting on the TV these days.
You're watching Disney Channel. If we haven't bought you yet, your letter is in the mail. Next up, a romance story for the ages about a girl and a zombie. No, not warm bodies. Stop saying that. He's just a boy who's all about brains. She's a boring tween with pom-poms. And together, they're gonna show the world that cheer conquers all. Z.O.M.B.I.E.S. What does that spell? Segregation.
What the fuck?
I mean, what the fuck?
Welcome to Seabrook. Everything was perfect.
Until it wasn't.
And when the contaminated green haze blew west, people were not happy.
Zombies.
That's right. Zombies.
I didn't realize this was The Walking Dead.
Did I bump the remote? This is kinda hardcore. It doesn't last long, but this moment here does a great job of describing how an accident at a power plant involving lime soda and keto Homer Simpson here turned half of a town's entire population into zombies. And they go around doing what zombies do, you know? Eating brains, shambling slowly, busting through windows for your fucking kids. Like, holy shit, this intro.
I really like the comic book style. It really sets you up for a tonally serious movie that will—
Watch it come together, be the best one ever, because it's my time. This is gonna be my year.
Well, never mind, I guess we are watching High School Musical. It hasn't even been 5 minutes. Not even 5 minutes and I got so much tonal whiplash I feel like I'm drumming for J.K. Simmons.
We're introduced to our main character, Zed. And when he's not being oppressed by his government, curfewed, and given no drinking water, he's just like us, guys. He's just your average, ordinary kid who wants to play football in the recently desegregated school. Really, it's not at all awful, and it's actually really cool.
We've come a long way since the outbreak. Thanks to the Z-Band. This puppy delivers a dose of soothing electromagnetic pulses that keep us from eating brains. Now, zombies can live happy lives.
That's right, kid. You're totally ready for society when your Fitbit is all that's stopping you from devouring your newborn's half-breed face.
This movie is full of depressing little details like this, actually. If you read between the lines of what he's saying, it's likely this kid is the first in his family to ever get an education. His zombie dad works hard to provide for them, and they actually mention in the movie what shitty lives the zombies live.
We get the worst jobs and a curfew at night. They make us wear these uniforms that all look the same. Why is it just us being treated this way?
They're not allowed to have basic things like pets.
She really wants a dog, but zombies aren't allowed to have pets. Some people still think we'll eat them.
Or, hell, glorified prison uniforms.
Zombies have to wear government-issued coveralls. But we make them look pretty cool.
This is legitimately disturbing, and it's even more so when the reality of an oppressed minority is being displayed on a set that looks right out of fucking Lazy Town.
Never use a messy recipe. The trick will end up crazy. If you do the cooking by the book, then you'll have a—
Bring it down, bitch! Let me see you back it up!
And they eat cauliflower brains from a can. Cauliflower brains. This is enforced veganism, and that makes discrimination a minor oopsie by comparison. I can excuse racism, but I draw the line at enforced veganism.
You can excuse racism? So he's a zombie and a furry. This movie gets more progressive by the second.
So, we are also introduced to Addison.
Hi, I'm Addison.
Hi Addison, I can tell by your eyes that you're totally not planning to poison the town's water supply. She's excited because she's going to try out for the cheerleading squad at school this year. But she's got an embarrassing secret.
Born with it. Doctors can't explain it.
Doctors can't explain why this dumb broad failed to dye her hair. Given her demonstrated IQ in this movie, I'm going to assume she was using white. She's told by her parents to keep it a secret, but it's really not that big a deal, as you'll later see.
Come together, be the best one ever, because it's my time. This is gonna be my year, been waiting.
So they musical number their way to the segregation fence, and this is probably the image that gives me the most headaches out of this entire movie. You're watching a clear recreation of that image of the white and black divided fences from the 1960s, but with a cheery dance over it like it's meant to be aesthetic. I'm pretty sure the movie only avoids being offensive by being completely incoherent.
The music isn't bad, but it's also nothing special or memorable. It's like, well, B-Track Disney Channel. Man, even their garbage is on brand.
And they break this happy mood by giving you a sweet little dose of police brutality.
Do we need to take a trip downtown?
No, officer. We're all good.
Zed insists that this will be much better than their last schooling, which was in a dark, dingy basement. You and every child on Earth is not stupid enough to not see what's coming. They have class in a basement. Wow! Not only are their actors dead, so is their comedy. The principal is all beside herself, having a bunch of stinky corpses in her basement, and constantly has this expression like she shit herself. She's clearly not happy about the city council forcing this change, but who forced them? The entire movie shows no zombie supporters. None. Is George Romero on the council? Also, she's kinda right. You have a small army of superpowered dead people that are a broken bracelet away from gnawing through your student body like a plate of wings in a frat house.
Addison's mom mentioned a city council being responsible for the zombie interventions, but who is the city council? Everyone in this town hates zombies. Everyone. The students, the parents, the police. Who the fuck was in favor of this decision? A city council implies that it's a group of regular Seabrook residents who voted for this decision. So how can it be possible that the same people who do this...
Yeah, I think there's something there, you know?
Look, humans are bad, but cheerleaders are monsters.
were A-okay with zombies integrating into society with them? The answer is, it isn't. Something darker is clearly going on here. So we're also introduced to two very important characters, Sharpay Evans the man.
People love me, okay? I got jazz hands.
And Joker.
He's escaping! The killer is escaping! Help me!
I'm gonna be honest, I think this actress finally got her first big break. This movie was probably the first big role she got in her career, and she's so excited to be in a Disney movie she's giving it 2,000%. Unfortunately, her smile is enough to expose this character's clear psychopathic tendencies. In every scene Addison is with her, she mostly looks like the character is right behind the camera holding her family at gunpoint to force her to interact with this woman.
Well, forced friendships and basement time aside, Zed can't help but break the #1 rule that keeps him and his class from getting the hose, and leaves to explore. He only lasts 20 seconds, much like myself, before someone catches him wandering and pulls a literal zombie alarm because remember, this cutesy world is still suffering from the PTSD of a somewhat recent mass slaughter. Hiding in, ironically, a safe room from zombies, Zed bumps into Addison, and it's awkward, uncharming love at first sight.
Why, hello.
Don't get any ideas, Buster. The only thing more deadly than my high kick is my low kick.
Cringe.
I'm Zed. What's your name?
Addison, nice to meet you. All clear.
This is the most chemistry they will share in the next hour of the movie, and it's Zed being decked in the face. Let this be a warning to you.
Just then, Sharpay the man, decides to interrupt the unromance and loudly declares that no cousin of his will be going out with a zombie. And is he wrong to think that? If he gives her a fucking hickey, Addison's dead. So now we get Zed trying to fulfill his only purpose in life apparently, being on the football team. It's pretty much all he wants. Ever. And he doesn't mind living with the occasional lack of rights to achieve it.
But he can't play football since Principal Skidmarks doesn't want zombies doing anything in any class or team because that involves leaving the basement. Kinda weird you didn't go looking for him after they likely counted him missing, but okay.
You know, I think that cheerleader likes me.
The one that punched you in the face?
Yeah, I think there's something there, you know?
Shut your stupid mouth and die already.
It only takes 5 minutes of conversation with Addison for Zed to decide he wants some of that humussy.
So much for being vegan. I guess brains aren't the only thing Zed plans on eating, huh?
Moving on to the cheer tryouts. And this is where I'm gonna highlight the High School Musical roots of this movie. The choreography at times is quite good. It's very reminiscent of High School Musical 2 and onward, and even though the music itself is generic, the dances really shine.
Ain't no mountain we can't climb, nothing keeps us down. Nothing's gonna get in our way. So get up out of our way.
We're fired up. We're fired up. We're fired up. Fired up. Fired up.
Oh, that's so cool!
This would almost be a saving grace of the movie if not for everything else about it. High School Musical's dance scenes were often really big and sweeping and integrated a lot of the backup dancers. They drew a lot of inspiration from jazz, and Z.O.M.B.I.E.S seems to go in a similar direction. There's a reason we put it on the title of this video, as the more you watch the movie, the more you realize just how much Z.O.M.B.I.E.S was trying hard and barely hiding the fact that it wanted to be the next High School Musical. And failed miserably, like a lot of Disney sequels and remakes do, because its writers failed to understand what made High School Musical successful.
Hey! Who am I fooling? Bucky's never gonna let me on the team. He'll clip my wings. I'm never gonna fly.
Also, I'm sorry, but Joker quitting over her insecurity comes out of nowhere. And then she gets inspired by Addison and jumps back in? Cheater! Take her number and rip it like the rest! You need stamina and devotion to be a cheerleader. And far, far better than her, didn't quit and got the boot anyway. And then Addison begs to have Joker put on the team, to which Fucky Jizzhands begrudgingly agrees. And then Bucky takes a moment to be racist.
People love cheer. That's what makes me so important, and I hate to see that change. Change is upon us now that zombies have entered our school.
Cheer is being threatened.
Okay, but again, he's got a point. I mean, weird analogy. I don't know why they're so cheer-obsessed for such a shitty football team, but like a fear of diseased corpses that are shambling, bottomless stomachs designed for the sole purpose of consuming human flesh is a rational position to have. Even if he's overbearing about it, he's not wrong. Furthering the point that zombies are disliked, apparently cheer initiation every year is to egg zombies' homes. I guess specifically Z Street, assuming that there's canonically more than 10, maybe 12 infected kids. This raises even more issues because unless Cheer Hitler here was held back the last 5 or so years, how is this some kind of tradition already? Actually, how is it a thing at all to remind zombies they aren't accepted in town if the integration is brand new? This whole execution is lazy and contrived.
Wow. Zombie Town.
Oh my gosh, poverty is like so exotic. Anyway, Sharpay the man gets scared by the sassy black zombie lady. The mighty shrimps floor it, leaving Addison and her government-aside nerdy friend behind. This never gets brought up again, by the way. I guess Bucky just leaves Addison and Joker to walk home afterwards. Apparently, despite a big number of people joining the cheer squad in the last scene, only these two have to do the initiation.
The sounds of tire screeching alerts the block, and these two geniuses hide in plain sight while still holding the eggs. Zed spots them while investigating, but doesn't tell his dad they're there, and we see the guilt on Addison's face.
Are zombies always this harassed? I had no idea life was like this for them.
You didn't consider the giant fences, 0 zombies in your classroom, blatant racism, panic rooms, and you punching Zed out of learned instinct as proof of their mistreatment. No, it's only egging their house that pushes you to this stunning realization.
Wait a minute, girlie. I thought you were also oppressed. I thought you knew what it was like to suffer decade-old prejudice because you have white hair. This is where it's confusing. There's many scenes in the movie where they make Addison act like, oh yeah, I totally get your pain of systematic oppression. I have white hair. We're the same. But in other scenes, she's like,
wow, I never realized zombies live like this.
So which is it? Does this bitch know what she's saying?
The next day, Zed has embraced necro-inceldom and is zombie-pilled, until the walking pocket pussy returns to apologize for her hate crime. They agree to hang out in secret, and she invites Zed and the other zombies to a pep rally, which she has absolutely no authority to do and could have created insane panic and gotten them in serious trouble. But because the director was insecure about the size of his cast, he decides to let the zombies pad the bleachers for this scene.
Just then, the shrimps decide to pull out fire stick thingies, which are totally real fire on the set and absolutely not just them holding empty sticks with a default After Effects fire effect added in post.
No, you cannot have live fucking fire inside a closed space with cables around you.
But we're Disney!
Yeah, and that's Tyrone, head of security, who will snap you like a Twix bar if you so much as light a candle. Don't worry though, I'm sure Disney will be more than happy to pay for your visual effects. After all, why else would you have to film your school scenes in our hotel lobby if you weren't rolling in mouse moolah?
Fine, we'll do it in post. You there, draw some fire on the computer and click the animate button or some shit.
But I don't know how to animate.
Just use one of those starter pack fireworks. Yeah, that will do it. Plus, we get to save $3 extra for a 1/4 of an inch of cocaine.
The fire is so fake it makes Frankentism have a panic attack, rushing the cheer squad and causing them to bail in the middle of throwing Addison. But he also knocked Zed over, whose bracelet shuts off like a knockoff Apple Watch and returns him to pre-civilized zombie strength. Kinda proving that zombies aren't safe to be around. He's able to knock a row of football players 15 feet away as he dives to catch Edison, which leads to both a deal with the coach and with Principal Pamper Dampener. But she won't be shitting herself in this scene, at least not out of fear, for you see Zed is the key to finally winning a game for them, and so he's allowed on the squad. She even sweetens the deal by agreeing to be kinder to the zombies and allows them to eat with the other kids.
In good faith, I will allow zombies to eat in the cafeteria. And once you start racking in those wins, then we'll talk about those other demands, all right?
In case you didn't catch that, what he's actually saying is the possibility of zombie kind having rights rests on his ability to win football games. This isn't a permanent thing. Whether the entire race of zombies get to have the dignity of eating at a table during meals hinges solely on this twink's football skill.
Our very own lunch table in the darkest corner under cheap fluorescent lights and by the trash cans.
I know. It's perfect. Living large and in charge.
Okay, this motherfucker has a submission kink. This movie is constantly trying to build him up like he's an alpha male, leader of the football team, super strong, rapping and stuff. But if you just look at his character, he's practically the bottomest of the bottom of the barrel. Not only does he look like a twink, he definitely proved multiple times how much he has a fetish for being controlled. Either by his dummy mommy or the system.
Okay, well, once again, this premise is forcing you to confront its flaws. Zombies are brain eaters. It's why they need brain substitutes like collie brains, right? Or no, because they do eat fruits like we see Zed do with the apple here. And toast with diarrhea as well. So is brain food a choice? Is it like a nicotine patch to quell the urge? What is it? If you think I'm overthinking it, fine, but when you examine it for even a second, it's the movie's fault. But we'll come back to that later. Nice lunch, by the way. Colorful cupcakes, fake orange juice flavored drink. Some sticky icky to start your day? Well, I guess we know why Bree here has the giggles. That's what I call a hybrid meal. The breakfast of champions. Specifically Snoop Dogg.
My heart's racing and my palms are sweaty.
Knees weak, arms spaghetti. There's vomit on his sweater, spaghetti. Mom spaghetti.
You like him? You like a zombie?
That's bad, right?
Yes! Yes!
So in the middle of the cafeteria, Zed decides to call her over because he clearly has no sense of social propriety and makes everyone uncomfortable. Addison walks over to the zombie table and,
as they say in old zombie tongue, Gazar Nutty Garzane Garstick. I looked it up on the internet.
You just thanked me for rubbing peanut butter on your umbrella.
Did this bitch just womansplain their own language at them? This is so out of left field that according to this badly made analogy, this is like walking over to the black kids table in school and using the N-word at them. So the autistic stand-in zombie gives her a fruit flower thing, which was probably left over from the free breakfast at the hotel they were clearly filming this movie at. Why else would this strange-looking cafeteria resemble a hotel corporate conference room?
So, in the middle of talking, Addison is dragged away and confronted for befriending zombies by Bucky's three stooges. Told to knock it off or else, she decides to leave the room altogether. But Zed gives chase, again being as subtle as a heart-shaped hand grenade, and catches a moment alone with her in a very secret, why are you in the middle of the fucking hallway? Y'all, I swear, you share one brain cell that bounces off your skulls like a game of Pong. They finally go to an actual hiding spot and jump right into an admittedly pretty cute scene. Not for real. There's creative usage of a book and a light, shadow puppeting, putting a colander over said light to make a cool spinning effect. It's all very tasteful. And the dancing? It's, as usual, really solid. Here in a small room with limited mobility and props, they really get to act animated. Zed and her are telling a story, lyrically and with their movement. Really, it's not awful. After that ends, our good feelings subside, however, when we remember this is a love story about a corpse and a human girl, and we're not even halfway done. So it's time for the big game. Zed's dad and sister are there, and wouldn't you know it, the undead little tyke has a passion for cheer. Weird considering they're not doing anything remotely impressive and their team is getting their shit pushed in.
And after hyping up this twin kid as an incredible alpha male who will demolish them all, he gets tossed around like a ragdoll. During halftime, the coach, who is the only good character in this movie, tries to get the team to lose with some dignity.
Here's what you need to do, okay? I'm only gonna draw this once, so pay attention. All you have to do, move forward, move all the way forward. Look, I knew we were gonna lose, all right? So let's just go out there and lose better.
Only for the principal to walk in and remind this literal minor that he either wins the game or his people lose their rights. So Zed thinks, what's a little bit more of my humanity lost anyway? And convinces Malcolm X Zombie Girl to hack his Z-band and make him a brain-eating monster that's a danger to society. So of course this works and he wins the game.
I'd rather win for our football team thanks to Zombie Z, so be sure to show some zombie pride.
Okay, if you pay attention, the people in this world flip on whether they love or hate zombies on a fucking dime. One day, the zombies are segregated in a basement and there's zombie emergency alarms on every wall. The next, they're removing the fences and shouting through the school megaphones about zombie pride. Which is it? Is this how racism works IRL? Did Martin Luther King have to win a soccer game to eradicate racism, and then the next day a black guy steals a can of soup and racism is reignited?
Addison gets threatened by Bucky to stay away from zombies or else leave the team, and she agrees even though she clearly shows no intention of avoiding him. And we get a terrible montage of spinning PNGs of Google image newspapers showing Zed winning all the games, just all of them, and yeah, no, I'm not buying that Twinkie McPopsicle stick is barreling through men 3 times his size. Sorry.
Also, still extremely sad that Zed pretty much lives for football but he sucks at it, so he has to resort to the equivalent of steroids to even stand a chance at winning.
Later on, after the school has all but entirely accepted zombies, and they're almost like second-class citizens, Zed secretly invites Addison somewhere with a note that might as well be made from letters cut out of magazines, and she stupidly goes with nobody else. But it's okay, he isn't going Jeffrey Dahmer on her. He just wants to show her another awesome dance sequence. This time a rave at the old factory.
Hey, it's a chance to get loose and be ourselves.
Yeah, I have a feeling I know how this night ends.
No!
What's wrong, baby?
But now, we gotta acknowledge this dancing sequence, because seriously, if you're gonna remember nothing from this movie, and you probably won't, the dancing is honest to God amazing, and in this scene especially, it goes way damn harder than it needs to.
Oh my God, he's so goddamn cool!
Hey, come back to that. Hey, wait, hold on, I was looking at that. What the fuck? Stop cutting. Why do they keep doing that? Look, they've got amazing and elaborate choreography set up. Everyone doing something, and then just when you're finding the rhythm and you're vibing, they cut to a shot that's either not needed or weirdly positioned so that you find yourself just asking why, you know? And it's not just this movie. A lot of musical movies do this. But why? Seriously, outside specific stunts or visual effects shots, just hold the camera still! Look at Zed and these guys. That's awesome! And shots like this would be great so much more often. But here's how most of it's shot.
Bam, bam. You're in zombie land. I'm in zombie land. In zombie land. Watch me do it like a bam.
Sure, maybe it isn't some objective mistake, but it's a stylistic choice that's really hurting both the creativity of these dances and me, because you're editing this like it's made for kids with 0 attention spans. Oh, right, modern Disney. Okay.
Zed has a short scene with the one autistic zombie where his bracelet starts to hurt and nothing really comes of it. Addison has a scene with Zed's little sister, and Eliza comes in just to prove that she has more chemistry with a Malcolm X zombie girl than she does with a twink this entire movie.
Look at you. You're smart, pretty.
You think I'm pretty?
Then Zed comes in and reminds Addison they're dating by displaying his domination fetish in public.
Who's a good boy?
Me.
No! God, please, no! No!
We move on to an admittedly sort of cute scene. I know this sort of aesthetic has been overdone to death, the whole hanging lights in a room thing, but it's the kind of thing you don't mind seeing as a repeated trope, much like Romeo and Juliet stories, over and over and over again. This is the exact same repeated song from this scene, but acoustic, which makes it different.
Someday, this could be ordinary. Someday, could we be something extraordinary?
Someday.
This could be ordinary.
It's beautiful.
I don't know why Addison keeps being embarrassed over the white hair she is clearly wearing under her real hair, but Zed doesn't mind, further confirming that literally no one gives a shit about the object she projects her oppression on. Then, God himself blessed us by having the police bust in that very moment to stop this girl from kissing a literal dead body.
Her parents want to know how badly they fucked her up that she's going to raves full of flesh-eating monsters over doing her homework, and her excuse is that she was with her boyfriend. Now, how her parents didn't put 2 and 2 together on who that is, or how exactly that exonerates her of going to a dangerous place full of zombies is beyond me. Well, nice excuse anyway, but guess what? Now they want to meet this boy, or else she'll never cheer again. What is wrong with you people? Why is this threat necessary? Why is cheer all that matters to her? Why does she always look like she took mushrooms right before each scene? Why hasn't this movie ended yet? So Zed somehow needs to have it explained to him why her parents can't find out about their forbidden love, and she's quite despondent. And just what terrible parents, who doesn't want their teenage daughter finding boyfriends in the local morgue? So Bucky's cliche coterie of closet cases and pretty faces finds out that Malcolm X girl is indeed hacking Zed's Z-band, and they distract her with painfully obvious lies about friendship to swipe her computer, which she just never checks is still there, I guess. They can't get in anyway, until Zed, back at home, having no idea what will happen to him or if it'll even do what he's hoping it will, swipes right on his Z-band just like Malcolm X girl told him not to.
So Zed manages to convince Addison's parents that he's not a zombie by taking off his makeup, and he takes her on a date to the indoor pool of the hotel they're filming this movie in, as evidenced by the pool floor and the fact there's no store sign because the hotel probably didn't let them modify the building. We get more evidence that this entire town has a strange obsession with cheer down to the name of the store, and the fact that Zed's excitement over vanilla ice cream probably means that this twink has never been allowed to have ice cream in his life.
Yeah, look at us, we're together.
But you're forced to be someone you're not. And on the football field.
So, you wear a wig to fit in. Why can't I do the same thing with my Z-band? Why is that so bad?
Because it's not right.
We get this weird conversation between them about how Addison thinks they're being something they're not by having the audacity to be in an ice cream store in public. And okay, here's the thing. Too many Disney movies have this kind of speech at some point about being yourself and not conforming to society's expectations of you. You tell me if you think that applies to this situation. This man probably has real blood flowing in his veins for the first time in his life because zombies are still humans who are just infected by something. This movie often seems to gloss over that and treat them like they're a different species entirely, with their own language and everything. So which is it? Are the zombies considered human as well? The movie meanders a lot and never seeks to answer this question.
Furthermore, who the fuck do you think you are?
But you're forced to be someone you're not.
Oh my god! What did you just say? The lion, the witch, and the audacity of this bitch!
This kid did this to have a normal life, not just for you or for society's norms. He has literally regained his humanity. For the first time, he's not craving human flesh or having flashes of aggression, and the movie is trying to compare that to something like dressing up for an interview in a way that you normally wouldn't, or hiding your Lego passion because you think it's childish. There's fitting in, and then there's curing a fucking disease!
No, Zed, you don't understand. I loved you when you had Ebola. Now that you don't have it anymore, you're not being your real self.
Die already.
Anyway, we move on to the stereotypical super important final game they have in all these Disney movies. Zed's bracelet is still malfunctioning and male Sharpay is once again angry that Addison has the audacity to cheer for their own team in a football game. He kicks her and Joker out of the team for it, and let's just all remember that Addison also decided to throw her entire cheer career away for a walking corpse she met a few weeks ago. Just then, the evil cheerleaders decide to hack Zed's bracelet again, turning him full zombie mode, unable to realize that he's gonna eat them too. I want to make a minor point here that the visual effects for the zombies do look really cool. They make their veins pop out and overall the makeup looks quite scary when they're in feral mode. It's really weird to realize that they probably got a horror movie visual effects artist to work on what's essentially High School Musical, but there you go. Admittedly, this is a pretty tense and scary scene, and I think this might have scared some kids in the audience. I really can't express the amount of whiplash it is from 1 second you're watching High School Musical getting their heads in the game, and the next you're watching The Last of Us. The police manages to neutralize them in time, and Addison is trying to stop the zombies being arrested like this is some kind of injustice. As if all the people telling her zombies are dangerous weren't just immediately proven right by this scene.
Maybe they're right, maybe we shouldn't be together.
Yep. And after all this, Addison is in her own little world witnessing the injustice around her, which is really justified when you think about it. She turns to address the crowd, and probably the moment that gives me the most cringe in the entire movie.
Hey! You did this to him. All of you. He was your monster. You made him feel like he had to risk his life to belong. Because you couldn't deal with someone different!
Cringe! I think it's pretty clear that Addison is suffering from some kind of mental condition too, as she views her boyfriend being a zombie and her a human as the equivalent of him liking vanilla and her chocolate. Not the fact that he is a flesh-eating monster who will eat said flesh if given the chance, and he just proved so 5 minutes ago. This movie is constantly confusing and meandering on whether to treat zombieism as either a disease or a quirky personality trait that makes them just like you and me. You know, they eat human brains. I eat cauliflower. We're the same. Then she decides this is her moment for a Let It Go Elsa musical solo.
How can you see into my eyes like open doors?
What?
Crazy bitch, what are you doing?
Get off the field!
Are you singing?
I wanna watch the game!
Hello?
Hey! Excuse me, are you talking?
What the fuck are you
I'm
doing?
singing, bitch!
So she has like a legit mental breakdown here. She imagines Bucky questioning his own values and sitting solemnly, walking the bleachers amongst equally disinterested people. And it ends with her revealing her hair.
Wake me up!
Wake me up inside.
I can't wake up!
Wake me up inside.
This time not a delusion, to a crowd that is probably just shocked that a girl rocking and singing to herself on the field just spun around, ripped off her hair, and screamed the ending to a song in her head like a fucking maniac. They took it well, though. Best reaction ever. No dramatic and guilt-filled silence, no everyone claps moment, just a realistic reaction, short only a few solo cups of alcohol being chucked at her hollow fucking head. The zombies spend time in basically jail, and once released they get software updates to their Z-bands that prevent hacking. Seriously? Then why didn't you release a version 2.0 before the integration into the public schools? Like, yeah, zombie bigotry, boo-hoo. What's the excuse for not releasing that shit the moment it's done and ensuring the violent monsters you know are dangerous are, you know, less likely to go on a rampage? Malcolm X Chromosomes here says that she's sick of this bullshit and decides to engage in actively plotting terrorism and zombie uprisings right in front of the officers that brought her home. Luckily, the movie needs them to not hear her, so nothing happens.
What were you thinking? You could have died adjusting your Z-bands, Ed. You don't have to change who you are, son. I love who you are.
Yeah, but they don't.
That's actually sweet. So short, just a few seconds, but the dad and son's acting works here, and I hate that there's a good movie buried somewhere in here, but it needed a few more solid rewrites and a tonal shift.
With the cheer championship a few hours away, Bucky is purging anyone who isn't anti-zombie, and that's a lot of people.
But the previous scenes, and you said you can't keep changing how many people hate zombies whenever it fucking suits you. 1 second it's none, then it's all of them. Make up your mind.
To make things even more insane, Bucky is kicking out everyone who isn't anti-zombie, which for some reason is a big number of people, even after what happened literally yesterday. These people still love zombies to the point of doing actual cultural appropriation. This motherfucker is wearing a fake Z-band as a fashion statement. A reminder that the Z-band is the zombies' literal symbol of oppression.
Eliza's gonna sabotage something? The cheer championship.
Once again, talking about conspiracies and revolutions right in front of police officers has no consequence because the plot demands it to be that way. So since everything so far has been extremely anticlimactic and none of the problems of the plot so far have been solved, we need to insert a second super important final sports event Disney Channel trope to end the movie with and make the audience think things are actually resolved. Addison and her Joker buddy are there, and Addison is still trying to act like her white hair is such an act of defiance when clearly nobody gives a shit. A few scenes ago, Eliza was trying to plan a sabotage for the second time, but it's not exactly clear what she was planning to do. She goes to the cheer championship, but at first you think she's trying to do some kind of prank, but judging by the plan she drew and the fact that she's in the basement messing around with circuitry, is she planning to cause some kind of short circuit? Kill everyone? Eliza, you wouldn't do that, would you? Anyway, Zed and his cronies come in to remind her that you should never retaliate in the face of oppression and stay complacent like the obedient little minority that you are. And then Addison comes in to say,
No, fuck that, do the arson!
I feel like there's a middle ground here we should be...
Arson!
Taking her chance, Zed's little sister runs out for no reason and with no build-up and decides now will be her chance to cheer. And Addison says one of the stupidest fucking things I've ever heard in my entire life.
She's changing things. By cheering.
Get off the stage!
Gag me with a spoon full of hemlock.
I think I'm kind of wasting my breath at how confusing the be true to yourself message is in this movie. Zed talks them all out of burning down the building with everyone inside because it's not the zombie way. Yeah, okay, sure. Bucky and the Shrimps go on stage and they're apparently not doing too well out of lack of zombieism in their cheer spirit. So Zed, Addison, and the rest of these guys decide that the solution to racism is cheer. However, if you thought this was gonna be Bucky's moment of redemption, boy are you giving this movie too much credit. The man still thinks being racist is his top priority in life, even more than winning football games, and even more than cheer itself. The narcissistic cheer captain who lives for cheer literally decides racism is more important than the thing he bases his personality on.
But that's really dumb. But he's so cool! But that's so dumb!
All this time, the movie made you think that cheer is the most important thing in Bucky's life, even more than his family or his friends. But no, it isn't. It's racism.
Bucky, things can change.
It can't.
Bucky is the only character in this entire movie who doesn't flip-flop in his opinion on zombies. Racism for this man isn't just a personality trait, it's a religion. He treats being racist as a truth he follows more seriously than even cheer itself. What else do you call that if not a religion?
Hey son, I wanted to talk to you. I know religion's important and all, but...
Cheer spirits. Glory to all that is firecracker, firecracker, shish boom bop.
In a weird sense, I have to applaud this icon for his dedication to racism.
So they all cheer together, and the little girl goes and blows smoke up Bucky's ass cheeks about how amazing he is, so he joins them. Likely he's still racist, though, for the big music number that wins Seabrook High School the cheer championship. So everyone loves zombies now, and they throw a big block party to celebrate the end of all racism because something cheer in football. Addison gets Zed's little sister a dog, which she will either eat or have taken from her since legislation doesn't change in a day, and we end on another fantastically choreographed music number. And that's it.
Yeah, the movie ends there. It just ends. We're supposed to assume that this entire dance sequence tied all the plot threads in this entire movie together. What was even the point of Addison's white hair? What does it mean? Who cares? Does Bucky really become less racist, or is he just using the zombies to benefit himself? No answer. Do zombies actually get to live proper humane lives now and offered a cure to make sure none of this happens again? Well, the answer to that is probably no. Both because Zombie Town and the Z.O.M.B.I.E.S still exist, and if we do that, well, how else are we gonna squeeze a sequel out of this thing? Yes, I am utterly serious. There's a Zombies 2, and 3. If you thought things weren't batshit insane enough for the first one, I fucking dare you to watch the sequels. You know, Shade and I can totally review them if you guys want it. Drop a like and comment if you want us to look at these two pieces of excrement too. I'm not sure what else there is to say. This was an absolutely insane thing that I was not prepared for when I sat down and watched it. Full disclosure, this review has kind of been in the works since 2020. I found this movie by sheer coincidence and I called Shade to take a look at it with me. Suffice it to say, this movie does not prepare you at all for what you are about to face. It's utterly impossible to describe unless you watch it. And on that note, I almost kind of recommend it. It's a so bad it's good movie that flies pretty close to the batshit insane logical fallacy level, and is also slightly more morbid. If you're into High School Musical knockoffs that make no fucking sense, then this movie's absolutely for you.
My thoughts exactly. While I personally don't recommend it at all, I too agree it's an experience. But at the end of the day, drop all cynicism, it's a mediocre High School Musical knockoff with some strange elements swirled in for flavor. It got sequels and merchandise for a reason, I guess, but the flaws in general aesthetic just aren't for me. And one might argue that's fine because it's all very streamlined for kids, so it's harmless. Yeah, well, I think that's a weak argument to deflect criticism. But it's not entirely wrong. I'm not going to stay mad over it. Now that we're done ripping it to shreds, it's a dumb, non-threatening distraction for toddlers. It's bright, flashing colors to keep kids off their iPad looking at another screen, but one Disney wants them to. It's cotton candy stuck between your teeth. It hurts, it's uncomfortable, but it'll melt eventually. And when it does, it'll be oh so sweet.
The parts where this movie shines do have to be commended. The actors are entertaining to watch, though it seems they would be more suited to a stage than a movie musical. The set design and overall aesthetic looks good. If anything, this movie stands out visually from most Disney Channel movies. That's definitely saying something. The pink and green colors jump out from every corner of the screen. That being said, the High School Musical roots are very hard to deny. This movie is trying, and trying hard, to be the next High School Musical, or even the next Descendants. Disney was looking for their next musical movie series to make them loads of cash, but ultimately failed to realize what made High School Musical successful in the first place. High School Musical was a movie about kids in high school doing sports, with a small Romeo and Juliet subplot inserted in. So Zombies also had to be about kids in high school doing sports, with a small Romeo and Juliet subplot inserted in. When you compare these two movies, the similarities become a lot more apparent. Even the way the dance sequences are done. I could talk about High School Musical all day, not because I'm the world's biggest fan of it, but because its success fascinates me. It wasn't just a famous Disney movie, it was a cultural phenomenon, to the point that to this day, it pervades in pop culture, and if you mention its name, most adults who've never watched it know of it. High School Musical was the perfect movie for the two groups of people who were mortal enemies in 2005. The stripy-haired emo teenagers who listened to Evanescence, and the kids who were the complete opposite of that, who had pink Motorola phones and decorated MySpace pages. Perfect movie for the kids with Motorola's to love, and the emo kids to hate. All that being said, I think it's very unlikely that there will ever be a Disney movie to top High School Musical. It simply got extremely lucky with releasing at the right time to the right audiences. Plus, the music and dance was just better produced. There was a lot of genuine effort and passion put into High School Musical, and you can feel it when you watch the movies even ironically. Compare it to this sanitized mess of a copy of it, and it's night and day. I struggle to see zombies as anything other than a failed imitator. The fact that they chose to make zombies, the creatures, a part of the supposed High School Musical story still baffles me that this was greenlit in the first place. Another huge issue is the world building, or frankly, the lack thereof. High School Musical didn't have to think of a world outside the school. That wasn't necessary. It was pretty apparent that their world was just like ours, so there was no need to explain what life was like outside East High. Zombies takes place in a fucking zombie apocalypse and tried to pretend that exploring the world wasn't important. Imagine if The Walking Dead took place inside one building. It's the zombie aspect that makes this movie dissolve into a huge mess that kind of has no way of being solved, unless you rework everything to resemble a run-of-the-mill zombie movie or just remove it entirely.
Jesus, we rambled on for so long. What's the zombie situation outside? Can you leave yet? My TV's gonna sprout Mickey Mouse ears and download Disney Plus if I don't change the channel soon.
Oh, look, it's Thursday now! I guess all the zombies bumped into walls at the same time because it seems the Z-Bands are back online.
That's stupid. This whole apocalypse was mid. And all I got out of it was no pizza in this shitty movie.
Well, what if you come to my place next time? Maybe the dominoes around there do work.
Yeah, sure, why not? I haven't left my cave since Disco died. Where do you live exactly?
You know, I live in blue_sky.jpg.
Ha, JPEG. Get on my level, nerd. Mine's a particle effect.
When's the last time you changed that, by the way?
Get out of my house.
It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. If the way is hazy, you gotta do the cooking by the book. You know you can't be lazy. Never use a messy recipe. The cake will end up crazy. If you do the cooking by the book, then you'll have a...
Bring it down, bitch. Let me see you back it up. Drop that ass down, load it, pick that motherfucker up. Bring it down, bitch. Let me see you back it up. Drop that ass down, load it, pick that motherfucker up. Now back that pussy, she's a motherfucker. Hey, back that pussy, she's a motherfucker. Now back that pussy, she's a motherfucker. Hey, back that pussy, she's a motherfucker.
It's a piece of cake to bake a pretty cake. What? If the way is hazy, you gotta do the cooking by the book. What? You know you can't be lazy.
We're all in this together. Once we know that we're all stars, and we see that we're all in this.
Are you still here? Leave!